Welcome to Explore the Possibilities. My name's Wyatt Case, and today I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Mansfield Cider Mill. We're located about 1.5 miles west of Mansfield on Route 6. We're a seasonal business that's open from the beginning of September to the beginning of November. We've been open since 1946. We started in downtown Mansfield until 1972, where Hurricane Agnes destroyed the building and most of the equipment down there. That's when my grandfather moved the business up to our current location at Route 6. Our older press was used in downtown Mansfield until the flood, where it survived the flood and then was moved up here, where it made cider for another 30 years after. We used to be more of a factory producing cider to sell at supermarkets and stuff like that, but after they changed the law about having to have cider pasteurized, we didn't really like how that changed the flavor, so then we just started selling it up here on our own. Our current press that we use now is a 17-inch model. It makes about 10 to 12 gallon every time the press comes clear to the bottom, compared to whereas we used to use a 48-inch racking cloth. That one made about 100 to 120 gallon every time it pressed and was continuous, so it could rotate all day long just like an assembly line. Where I'm standing right now is our new press. This is where we make all the cider that we sell at the store now. We use what's called a racking cloth press, where we layer cheesecloth filled with ground up apple in between plastic racks and stack them up. Then when we get our stack made, we press all the cider out of it. So we start with our fresh apples, which go into our auger. The auger carries them up to the top of the cider press, where they go into what's called a hammer mill. The hammer mill's got a shaft inside with knives off of it, and that spins. Cuts the apples up into almost a mush, and they come down into this drop box where we start loading up our racks and claws. Once we get 8 of those loaded up, we move them over to the press side. Then we press the cider out of them, where it's pumped into a refrigerated tank. And then after the cider gets chilled, we pump it up to a bottling tank where it's gravity fed down into jugs. We typically get about 3 to 3.5 gallons of cider for every bushel of apples. We typically make about 2,000 gallons a year up here now. And we like to run a mixture of apples that makes the flavor of the cider more complex, and people tend to like it. In the beginning of the season, we'll run more of Macintosh and Paula Red. Then we'll lead into some Cortlands, some Empires, and some Galas. And near the end of the season, we'll run Red and Yellow Delicious and Northern Spice. Typically, as the season goes on, the cider gets sweeter and sweeter. Those later apples tend to have a lot more sugar content in them. The consistency will change a little too, become almost a little more syrupy than the earlier cider, which can be tart. Our cider is unpasteurized, so unpasteurized and untreated, no preservatives or anything like that added, and it's just apples. People enjoy to drink it fresh. We have a lot of people now making hard cider out of it. It ferments easier, it's got some more natural yeast in it. Along with our fresh cider, we have local apples, local honey and maple syrup, along with a full line of jams, jellies, hot sauce, barbecue sauces, a couple different cheese dips. What's really popular is our apple butter. When you come to our store, you'll be able to see our antique cider press and antique pump, along with some artifacts that were used then. We have an antique apple polisher that used to be used to polish the apples up to a shine before they were sold. We have 3 antique cider presses, the one that we used to use, and then 2 display presses. For those who'd like to visit, we're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5, and Sunday, 10 to 4. We're open from the beginning of September to around the beginning of November, but it all depends on weather. For more information about the cider mill, you can find us on Facebook at Mansfield Cider Mill. And for more information on the area, go to visit Potter-Tioga.com. I'm Wyatt Case, and I look forward to seeing you here at the Mansfield Cider Mill.